The very sound of your voice, soothing to my soul.
Soul and Jazz Flavors continues to showcase some of the best new independent soul, soulful gospel and jazz right now in 2022 from across the globe. And this year so far, we've been blessed with so much great new music, and also the fantastic new album from MICHON Young. So, how are you?
I am wonderful, Steve. How are you? So honored to be here.
And listen, congratulations on the new album.
Thank you. I
don't know how many times I've listened to it now, but it gets under your skin, you know. So you must be delighted with it.
I am pleased with the response. I am very pleased and just humbled. You know, I'm getting messages from people talking about the album, and wow, it's just a wonderful feeling to know that people are vibing to something that you've created, as it is each and every single time. But this one is a little bit more special because of all the stuff that everybody has experienced. So this is just good news to my heart, and just makes me feel good.
Excellent. So tell us a little bit about yourself for those who might not know some of your background, where you came from, how you got into this business. Give us a very short resume of MICHON Young.
Okay, well, I'll say the short version of this. I am originally from Gary, Indiana, and I have been in the Detroit, Michigan area for so many years till this feels like my second hometown. And so I'm surrounded by music all the time. I started in the church, as I think, you know, a number of R&B or soul artists started. I started in the church. My mother played the piano, but was also classically trained. And so I grew up singing in the church. Never thought that I would be performing or professionally singing. I had my heart set on corporate America. But make a long story short, I ended up coming to Detroit. I ended up being connected to Pastor Marvin Winans, started singing background for him, which was my first professional experience doing anything like that.
But when that happened, you were quite young, weren't you?
You know what? I'm not going to say I was young. I was an adult. I had a child, so so I wasn't young. But I was younger, you know, I was certainly a bit younger. But you mean when I first met Pastor Winans, which is, yeah. So I was full grown, you know, and when I met him, and then when that connection started, that kind of, he's the first one, I think, that said, there's something unique and special about your gift, and you need to be using it. And I thought long and hard. There's always been a tugging of the heart to do something musically, quite honestly. But at that point, I realized that my heart was leaning towards doing something away from corporate America. And I've not looked back.
But for a senior member of the Winans family, that must have been wow to hear him say that.
It was amazing. And I'll tell you a story. One rehearsal we had, I had gotten to rehearsal earlier, and Pastor Winans has very intimate rehearsals. So he's at the piano, and it was me. I think it was four of us all together, and we were around the piano. And I'd gotten there earlier, sat in my seat, and he was at the piano. And he puts a piece of paper right down on the piano, and he says, I want you to put your name here because I'm going to be the first to get your autograph. I'll never forget that, Steve. Wow. I'll never forget that. And so when the very first time someone asked me for my autograph was in my hometown when I had my first CD release party. And when they asked me, Steve, I started crying because I remembered that moment that he told me, one day people are going to ask you for their, and I'm going to be the first to say I got it. That's always stuck with me. So it was amazing to be under such greatness and to have that that intimate connection and get training along the way.
Of course, yeah. Now, you mentioned there your first CD release party, going back to 2011, Possessing the Promise.
Yeah, that was a gospel project. That was my first project had to be gospel because that's my roots. And I always, had made this promise, this commitment that if I ever did anything, the first would be from where my roots were in the gospel. People, of course, at that point, tried to label me as a gospel artist, but that's honestly not something I had ever set out to be nor desired to be. I just knew I wanted to, if I did do anything musically, I knew it was going to be love focused. I just knew that. But that was the first project in 2011. And to this day, I can't explain how it even reached across the pond. Didn't know anyone across the pond whatsoever. I was a little independent artist that felt a tugging at the heart to do something. I did it. It wasn't produced by anybody major. It was just me and one. And I'm still amazed at how it got over there. But yeah, 2011, hard to believe. Oh,
it is very hard to believe. And
oh my gosh.
I listened again a few days ago and I thought, wow. And one track in particular stood out again for me this time. And it's a track called Always to Remember.
Yeah.
It's got great horns on that track.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. And that's actually the second song I wrote for that project. And I knew that I wanted a big sound. I just knew that. And, I'm not someone who studied music or who has, gone to wonderful schools or even majored in college. My major was not music at all. But I just have always heard sounds, and I've always felt and heard how I can tell you how it should go. And I can actually sing. I can actually, in music theory, I'm comfortable with that a bit, but I just knew I wanted a big sound. So when that song came about, I knew I wanted horns. I could hear horns. I could hear all of these things. And the producer that I worked with was like, how are we going to make this happen on this shoestring budget that you have? But we did. And I'm thankful to that project. I really am. I love that. That's one of my favorites to this day.
Well, let's play some of it to let everybody hear it. This is Always Remember from MICHON YOUNG, the debut album from 2011, Possessing the Promise.
Anything you go through, he's there with you. I declare he won't give you more than you can ever pay.
So 2011, we then jump up to 2016 for the very first Love Life Experiences.
Yeah. It's hard to believe that too. I came out with that. I knew some years after I had completed Possessing the Promise, I had this concept of love, life, and experiences. I was sitting in the shop getting my hair done with my stylist, who's also a good friend of mine. And I said, I just really want to start like this love life experience series. I said, I want to have an album that has, some positive stuff, a lot of love stuff, but something that has a mix of all of that. And that's how that concept just came about with just, and here I am in volume 3, which is hard to believe, but that concept just came about really thinking of a project that I wanted to to represent me, who I am as a person. And there's the love stuff, there's the spiritual side, and there's just the social side, all into one, which thankfully and hopefully each project of Love Life Experiences has represented in some form.
So you've got, there's a number of great tracks on that album, Michon. You've got So Glad, you've got Every Day, Something About You featuring T.L. Williams, which is just such a great track. I mean, how did you get him involved, and how did all that come about?
Wow, I was sitting there at my kitchen table, Steve, and my husband, we come up with beats sometimes. Honest to goodness, we'll sit and we'll drum the table or something, and then I remember him having this beat, and I just started just vibing to it. And, it blossomed literally from just a beat at the table until me just talking, singing Something So Smooth About You. And he was like, keep going. So I just kept going. I didn't have any real words to it, but I just kept singing, something so smooth about you, boy. And before I knew it, then he brings out his other little, this Casio that we had, that my son, in my son's room, he brought it and just sat it on the table, and he puts these, little, duets to it. And then when I got to the hook, I said, I don't know what else to say. He said, well, talk about what you like. And I looked at him, and I love a salt and pepper goatee. And so that's where that came from. But it literally started at my kitchen table with a simple drum beat, and it blossomed. And when I look at 3.8 million views on that song, it blows me away knowing where it came from. But I'm really glad that it did.
And then we only had to wait another couple of years until Volume 2 came out, Driving to Purpose. And I've got to say that probably my favorite track off of that is Let's Go to Work.
Yeah, that one was a labor of love also. Let's Go to Work. I wrote that song literally to encourage, couples to hang in there, marriage and relationships, whether you're married or not, when you're in a relationship, it's just all kinds of stuff, happens.
Oh, yeah.
And, it's work involved. Just as you put in a lot of work on your job, your 9 to 5, I think the same effort needs to be put on your home life, that relationship. And sometimes we look for, everything to be wonderful every day in our relationships. It's not that way. But if we realize we're two imperfect people, but if we work hard and do this thing, and try, knowing that every day is not going to be easy or rosy, but if we make a conscientious effort to do our best to try and understand one another and seek to understand, and then as opposed to seek to understand as opposed to be understood. I think that piece right there is what I really tried to emphasize. And Let's Go to Work. Let's work at this. Let's make it fun. Let's make it, but let's also understand it's going to require some effort between both of us. And that's my long-winded answer of Let's Go to Work. But yeah, I'm just glad it's a fun song that people have related to and enjoyed.
It's such a great song. Let's hear some of it from Love Life Experiences Volume 2 from 2018, Driving to Purpose. This is Let's Go to Work.
Together, if we try, we can do anything. Let's go to work.
And then in 2019, you came up, and I don't know who came up with this idea, but you came up with this fabulous concept of getting together with Carmichael Music Lover.
Yeah. It's crazy, Steve. We were actually on the same bill. I had never heard nor met Carmichael Music Lover. And we were actually, I was in Texas. I was asked to perform in Texas. And this gentleman was opening for me. And I had just come out with something about you. So this was still very new to me, right? And they said, there's this Carmichael Music Lover. And, you know, when I heard him, I said, oh, wow, he's awesome. First of all, I was just amazed that he was somebody of that level, you know, that caliber was opening for me.
Yeah.
But afterwards, immediately following, we just kind of vibed, we talked. And he said, I think I would love to work with you at some point. Right after that, I sent him a track he actually was on my project in 2018, a song called Good Feeling, that I wrote. And I actually sent him a copy, a draft of it, and said, I think we could do this. So that's the first time we had a chance to work together. And now we're actually even working on an EP at this point, that hopefully will be coming out before the end of the year.
Okay. Well, I've met Carmichael. He's an absolute gentleman. Great voice as well. And he releases some stuff. He's really busy, you know?
Oh yeah.
Which is great. And, you know, he's very, very popular in the UK and Europe as well, I'm glad to say. So, he was last over here 2019, the summer of 2019, doing some dates. So, and I was there. So it was nice to finally meet him and hear him. It was great. It was absolutely great.
Yeah. We're hoping to come back together, Steve. So hopefully, we'll be able to do that this year.
That will be great. So let's jump up to the present date in 2022. How long has Volume 3, Conversation Piece, taken to put together?
How long did it take to put it together? Oh gosh, it started with a total different set of songs, because we were supposed to release this project 2 years ago, at the very when the pandemic first hit.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a collection of songs that were different from what's on this project now. Who I actually love those songs, but through the course of the 2-year period, there were just emotions that were changing. There were just stuff that was happening. There was so many different things going on. And my pen and I got to work on just some other things that I was feeling that I wanted to express musically. And so this is how that came about. And it was a labor of love, but it really was sometimes challenging in the chaos that we were going through, to write about something positive. But I'm thankful that there was still some love in me to write about. And I'm very pleased and proud of the project, because it came from a real place, real feelings, real emotions. And it's nice, very nice to see that people are vibing to it.
Let's play a short snippet of 'Cause I Love You, and then when we come back, you can tell us a little bit about that. Here is 'Cause I Love You from Conversation Piece, Love Life Experiences Volume 3 from MICHON YOUNG.
Daily smiles on my face, perfectly showcase joy you bring into my life. Truth is, my heart was jaded, but was resuscitated. The moment your lips touch mine, it's not what you say, but what you do that makes me fall more in love with you. Oh baby. Oh, when I love you, display in simple ways, maybe so cliche, but believe when I say it's oh so right for me, and that's why I love you every day, baby. I love you.
So that's 'Cause I Love You. Tell us about that, please, MICHON.
You know, that song came from a place of appreciating my mate. Quite honestly, there were so many emotions, as I mentioned before, lost lots of friends and family. And during that, my emotions sometimes were just scattered. I just kind of was in disbelief at the world we were faced with. But through that, I often tell my spouse this, that he loved me through that. And it wasn't what he said, it was what he did. It was the, fixing breakfast, preparing breakfast, mornings where I just was like, oh my gosh, we lost somebody else, and emotions were everywhere. It was just taking time to love me through a very difficult period. And that literally explains how I felt. It's not what you say, but it's what you did that helped to love me to a point where I was able to get back to being my best self. So that I know it sounds mushy.
Hey,
but,
listen,
but
there's nothing wrong with being mushy or anything. That's life, right?
Yeah, it is life, and I think people, hopefully, other people can relate to that too, who may have experienced, maybe they reconnected, with whether it's your spouse or just your partner. Maybe you reconnected during that moment and you found that, man, this period was used for us to get to know each other again. And I found that, wow, there's some wonderful things about us. And as a whole, that's what I want this project to represent. Love in its purest form, in just a good way of welcoming people back out to the world.
Sure. Let's play something else now. Let's go for Try Me. Okay. Now, this isn't the first version I heard of this. There's a second version that eventually made the album. And this is the second version. Try Me Again from Volume 3 Conversation Piece by MICHON YOUNG.
Heard you had your share of relationship misery. Oh, made your heart cloudy, doubtful, and accessible. I just believe that love can still be beautiful, attainable. Ours can be defined with the right one by your side. Oh, if you want a strong love, if you want a strong love, if you want everything, try me.
So Try Me, tell us about that then, MICHON, because, and why there was two versions. What was going on there?
I personally, I liked the second version. I just like that version because to me, it just took everything away. It stripped a lot of things away and allowed you to really hear the message that I was trying to convey, and allowed you just to hear the vocals really in its simplest form. So I think it was just kind of taking a look at and listen to both of them and seeing which felt more heartfelt, I guess, which felt a little bit more smooth, and sometimes you can put so much on songs. I love top heavy music. I call it top heavy because I like big sounds. I like full sounds. And sometimes though, you can lose the message in a full sound. And I did not want the message to be lost in that song. It's a simple song, but it's a mellow and it's a love song. And yeah. I wanted to strip away as much as I could so that you could get and feel the love of that track.
Now, I did see earlier in the week that you finally have CDs of the album.
Yeah. I got CDs, physical CDs, and the first batch went out last week. So yes, CDs can be purchased at least until the end of the month on my website, which is www.michonyoung.com. And thereafter, then Amazon and CD Baby will also have those as well. But we wanted to start off at least from my personal site.
So if people want to get the CD, go direct to your own website. Obviously, digitally, it's available from all the other digital platforms. But you're also going to be here in the UK early next month as well, I believe.
Yes, I will be there July 9th, I believe, at the Milan Palace in, I think it's South London, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I don't have my notes. But yes, I am super excited about being there. And I am going to be opening for Case. I'll be there for 3 days, I believe, 3 or 4 days. But yeah, we'll have one night at the Milan Palace. I'm going to have a special UK DJ on stage, who actually appeared on my project as well.
Yeah,
female DJ. So I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be fun, Steve.
That will be fun. That will be great. That will be great. And then hopefully later on the year you'll come back and do some more dates in the UK.
Oh, I would love to. I want to go to Manchester. I want to do more than just London. I really want to organize a mini, if we could, around the areas. Some supporters from Manchester in particular have reached out to me, and I want to oblige. I want to get there. I'm going to do everything I can to make that happen. I want to do not a track show, but I want the band. I want to give them what hopefully my U.S. Supporters have experienced, and
sure.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping we can make some things happen. Fingers crossed.
I'm fingers crossed as well. Speak to some people, so hopefully get an update on that over the course of the next few days. But hey, listen, great album, absolutely fantastic to have you back, and can't wait to hopefully see you in person later on in the year in the UK when you come over.
Looking forward to it, Steve. And thank you so much for the support of the music. Indie artists, it's tough out there, but good people like the radio personalities and yourself, you guys help us. And you never know what that means to us. We don't always get a chance to say thank you, but thank you for all you do to keep us out there.
MICHON Young, thank you for your time. Stay well, stay safe, and we shall speak soon.
Thank you, Steve.